thought you said cock to who? And I was like, what?
Nice. Hey, welcome back to Doctor Who Rebrief for our second season, kind of, where we continue the trials of William Hartnell. The trials?
Trial to watch, am I right?
I'm joined by Rob.
Hi.
And Chris. And I am Phil. Welcome to Doctor Who Rebrief. Now let's start off with the bad news. There are some changes coming to Doctor Who Rebrief. We have been trying to organise when we can get together to record this episode for... how long is it?
8 months.
It's been really hard work.
8 months. We're busy people. Well, you know, they're busy people. I've been like, I could do
You've
this
got
day,
a child.
and this day,
You're
and this day.
busier than we are.
Yeah, Chris is pretty difficult to work with.
So the sad conclusion to that is that it's to try and get another 12 episodes in 1 year when it's taken us 8 months to arrange one recording session, it's probably not going to work.
Not happening.
So instead, we're moving to a format where I'm going to have guest hosts each week with me, each episode. So thankfully I've managed to get Chris and Rob back from last series for at least this episode. Maybe you guys can join for another one later on, you know, if we can,
Yeah, we'll see
you
if
know,
Chris is
maybe in 8 months' time.
Yeah, work around my real busy schedule.
But I'm going to be having a whole host of guest presenters with me to see us out through the William Hartnell years. Talking of which, what episode have we got today? Chris.
This is called The Rescue. It's a two-parter. It's from 1965. The TARDIS lands on the... I'm going to stop pretending I'm not reading it. TARDIS lands on the planet Dido at the end of the 25th century. The Doctor, Barbara and Ian discover a spaceship which is waiting for help. The only survivors have been murdered by natives, apart from a young orphaned girl and a paralysed man. But who is the strange creature Coquillion that they're afraid of? And will they remain safe long enough to be rescued? So there's some kind of reptile-y things running around. Barbara gets pushed off a cliff. Ian darts into action mode, and this is basically building up to the new companion who joins the gang at the end of it. The little girl Vicki decides to come on for the ride. Well, she's a schoolgirl age, isn't she?
She's meant to be. You think she's meant to be the same age as Susan?
Yeah, absolutely. She's meant to be the same. And it's like I said, it's a two-part episode. The end of the first one, we see the Doctor and Ian's about to get ran through with some automatic sword things. And then the second part of that is they manage to escape that trap, save the girl, find out the identity of the alien. Spoilers! It's the paralysed man! He was dressing up and killing all the natives!
You called that.
Yeah. To be fair, that was actually quite a high point for me, because that shows a level of narrative subtlety and complexity which has been absent from the previous Doctor Who's that we've watched.
Yeah.
Like, to actually work a twist into the show is quite cool, and like is I would say on an advanced level, because it's the first time for me with a twist like that they focused more on narrative and less on history/science.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What were your highlights? Rob?
I liked the Doctor's character in this episode. I felt that he was a bit more sassy and kind of in times of peril just went off for a nap. So I don't know, I kind of feel like they developed his character a bit more in this episode. He was a bit more proactive, whereas before he's not been... In modern Doctor Who, we're very used to him being very proactive and changing the plot a lot, whereas in these older episodes that we've watched, he's been a bit more passive. Whereas in this episode, I felt like he was developed a bit more and a bit more integral to the plot. So I quite like Sassy Doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, he was good, especially when he had the girder and he was banging in a door. I like that.
It helped not having Susan there, didn't it? I think that made he could be a bit more like
reckless.
Yeah, a bit more.
Yeah,
mad.
He was less of a role model.
Yeah, he's and he at one point he gets a sword out. He's right. He's getting into the action mode. He's taking Ian's role over a bit here with the action hero stuff. You know, and bit thug life Doctor Who with the bashing in of the door. I thought that was good. I like the fact that he you sort of got the effects of Susan leaving quite early on, and you saw that through the episode. He at one point at the very beginning he thinks that Susan's still there. He forgets that she's left, and you can see the effect that him leaving her, as the case was. She didn't choose to leave. He just abandoned her. Has had on him, and when he encounters Vicki later on, you can kind of see that he views her a bit as a sort of replacement granddaughter figure, and he's got that kind of paternal sort of attitude to her, and he lets her lead him by the hand places and things. I quite like that. Was good. What about dislikes? What did you guys dislike about it, Rob?
I didn't actually like Vicki. I found her quite irritating, and like you say, she is very similar to Susan, and I think they kind of just replaced a character with exactly the same character, which is a little bit frustrating, because in Current Who, when a companion leaves, we get another one, and they're normally quite different. They're from a different background, they've had a different upbringing, they've got a different backstory, they've got a different character, whereas Vicki is very much just Susan.
Yeah.
Exactly the same, and I didn't like Susan's character, which doesn't help. She's just very whiny and complainy and just causes all the trouble. So I think that was a bit disappointing, because it's kind of exciting, like, yeah, a new character. It's like, oh, it's just the same one. It kind of felt like they just needed to change actress.
I read somewhere that they even wanted to dye her hair the same colour as Susan's, so she would look almost like Susan. And actually the actress went, no, I want to be different, at least, a bit. So I'd be interested to see going, future episodes, if the actress has managed to convince them to diversify it a bit from what Susan was. We didn't get her, screaming or breaking any ankles, so at least there's that diversion from Susan in this episode. What about you, Chris?
My low light in this episode, I think Barbara was really wasted. I mean, like, we see her fairly early on get pushed down. She's the kind of the connection between the Doctor's gang and these humans, and sort of she's the linchpin. But it's like, as soon as Ian gets there, she's just reduced to background character. And all she really does, she takes a flare gun at one point and shoots one of the native reptiles, and then the girl Vicky's like, "No, why'd you do that?" Oh, great! That's her contribution. She hides a lot, and it's like, it just frustrates me, because it would have been really interesting to have seen more of her kind of on her own, and showing off like her intelligence, or showing off her kind of sort of maternal instincts with the young child, and instead she's just kind of runs around. She does a bit of working things out, but not really, and then as soon as Ian and the Doctor get there, she's wallpaper. Just kind of a letdown, really. I mean, I guess it's hard when you're trying to introduce a new character and stuff. I just thought she could have been a bit more interesting.
I think there was a missed opportunity with the bit where she shoots that creature.
Vicki! No, don't! No!
There's obviously some kind of friendly pet to the girl that she'd struck up some kind of friendship with. I think there was a missed opportunity there, because initially Vicki was very then like, oh, I don't like Barbara.
Yeah.
But they immediately
Clicked,
made up.
Yeah.
And
she was like, I don't trust Barbara, everything's gone wrong since you got here.
Yeah. And I think they could have continued that on. It would have been much more interesting narratively if that had maybe carried over, and Barbara had to earn her trust back over the next couple of serials, maybe. I know they maybe didn't do character development as much like that in those days, but I don't know, it felt like a bit of a missed opportunity. Any Doctor Who debuts? These are things that have happened that are now part of the furniture in Doctor Who, things that we expect to see, things that are part of the mythology of Doctor Who, and the first time they ever appeared.
So we've had aliens pretend to be humans before. That happens quite a lot in Modern Who. It's like a disguise, and it's like, what's under there? The spoilers, normally it's the Slitheen farting. But this was, I think, the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, that we've seen a human pretend to be an alien.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was quite interesting that because of the design of the characters at the time, when you see someone come on wearing a big mask and suit, you don't think it's going to be a human under there. You think it's just the kind of slightly old costume design. But actually, it's like, oh no, it's humans pretending to be aliens, and sure, I mean, I'm sure that happens later on, but it's just interesting that kind of that disguise play, I guess.
It's a bit Scooby-Doo, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the Doctor's an alien pretending to be a human, but he doesn't really pretend.
Time Lords just look like that.
Yeah.
But I thought I didn't even realise that was meant to be a mask.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, in reality, it's a mask, but I didn't realise it was meant to be a mask. Plot-wise, be a mask. I thought it was the actual face of the creatures of that planet. And they turn up at the end, the natives, and they just look human. So
they just have the mask for like decorative.
It's
reason.
ceremonial, I think they said. The Doctor says at one point. I also thought it was interesting the Doctor had been there before and knew that they were a pacifist race, and therefore it was a bit of a mystery of why they were suddenly being violent. For me, the episode really turned because I found the first episode was really dull and boring. I don't know what you guys thought.
Yeah. So slow.
But the second episode, once it got to the point where, well, actually, as soon as you said, "Oh, I bet that's the human guy," but no, that was the turning point for me. That was like the rest of the story. I thought, "Oh, that's a really good twist," and the rest of the story was interesting after that point. And when the Doctor confronted him, so it was only really it's sort of half and half. It's only a 2-episode serial, so that was nice and sweet for a change, instead of these 6-hour slogs we've gone through before. Anything else? I mean, it's the first time that we've had a new companion join the TARDIS crew, that we've swapped out a companion. That's the first time that's happened.
It was interesting to see when she goes into TARDIS for the first time. It's like, it's so big on the inside.
But it's huge.
Any hoologies? Anybody we want to pay tribute to that has died?
Susan.
She's alive.
Yeah, but it is weird that he left her, isn't it? Like,
very
it's
weird.
still very weird to me.
She's not alive in that time.
Yeah, because it's 500 years later.
Yeah. I hope
she'd be dead.
There were rumours that she will be back this Christmas along with the First Doctor in some way, in the Christmas special. I'm sure this episode will go out before Christmas, so I'm hoping.
Which will mean, right, if the First Doctor is in this year's Christmas special, it will make watching all these rubbish black and white episodes worthwhile.
Yeah.
Like, I know who that is!
The lizard that was going to eat Ian, but then didn't get his breakfast. So he probably starved to death. Because everyone else is dead. What else is he going to eat?
Well, he's not... Didn't starve to death. He got shot by a barber.
Oh, was that the same lizard?
Yeah,
I thought it was two different ones.
Oh, it might be. I don't know.
I didn't think it was the same one.
The geography of this whole episode was kind of whack, wasn't it?
Bennett died, and he was the bad guy, obviously, so... I don't feel that bad he's died, but he died in a really rubbish way. He's just suddenly these people appeared, and then he sort of backed off into a pit. So that wasn't a good death. Any other last minute thoughts?
Any last thoughts, Phil? Well, good luck to the people taking over from us, because we're companions. We're getting recast.
Yeah.
I think I'm being typecast. I'm going off to Hollywood. I don't know what your excuse is.
Bored.
Good luck to the next companions.
Can't bear any more black and white Doctor Who.
We'll appear in the Christmas special in 50 years' time. Then, don't worry.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for watching, and I will be back for another episode. Next time it's the Romans, I believe. So we're going to be watching that. I don't know who it's going to be with yet, but we'll find out. Please do check out these guys on other stuff they do. Rob has a YouTube channel. He's doing a lot of travelling at the moment, as you can tell by his lovely bronze look, and doing some travel vlogs. And you can find Chris over at Heroes of Handheld podcast. Gaming podcast for handheld gaming, and they have a YouTube channel as well where you can watch them do the podcast live. Is it? Yeah.
Watch it live, and reviews and unboxings, and all there's loads going on there. So do a little search for Heroes of Handheld, and you'll
So check that out, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.